Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a short video testing a 2007 Mini Cooper S with an N14 engine DME. The customer concern is no DME relay activation, which the same computer is the one in charge to do that. So Neal from Florida, this is your computer. I'm going to just quickly show you the test that you can do in the vehicle, and also the test after repairs, because I already contacted him and he approved the repair. So this is going to be a very short video. I'm trying to keep those computers that I have worked a lot. I will put them into the Mini Cooper playlist. If you want to see more wire diagrams, firewall reference and tests, and all that stuff, I have plenty very good information that you can visit in there. And I mean, I have help multiple customers and shops across the United States, and even I think across the pond. Let's say, I have a customer in France that was having issues, and we solved it through my videos and Zoom or WhatsApp calls, and it was very successful. So yeah, there is a lot of good information in there. So I'm trying to keep this one short because it's already a computer that I have worked a lot on it. All right, so let's take a look at the information and the computer. You see, I have the computer, the board completely out of the case. This is the case of this computer. And the part number of this computer, the original part number is 7610107. And I have all marked in there. So the computer is connected but not powered on. Most of the computer's issues or the problems on these computers are either reverse polarity connections, a ground loose on the back covers, and then also age component like capacitors and diodes, and they leak and they damage the board, sometimes to not repair. All right, so this is most of the issue that we have in this computer was created because of the capacitors that leaked and then damage transistors in place that are the ones in control and of the main power relay and so on. But let's take a look at the information. Let me just make sure that I have that open. And you're going to see this was not an easy find, because give me 1 second to get the view into my iPad so I can see. Make sure that you guys are watching the information, because sometimes it doesn't project it properly. So let me just connect that. Sorry about that, guys. Come on. All right, perfect. Let me get to the folder. We're going to go in order. This is the computer before the repairs with his business card. Neal from Florida. Found him screens that says DME received wake up voltage. It doesn't ground DME relay. Data line show voltage. I'm not sure what it means to do or mean to say with that, but we can see the part number that I was just showing you in there and everything. I also took a high definition picture. This picture you see here, it was taken with a lens with 100 megapixel camera that I have. It's a very, very good camera. And the reason I wanted to show you this is because I want to zoom in. I mean, with this, you got so much information that I can show you here. And this is why I do it. Because sometimes you get computers that somebody attempt to open up and rip components out of the board, or they get burned and you not even have a part number to go buy. And not that I have all these components in stock, but you go by that part number, and if it's multiple different modules, and also there's no data sheets with these numbers, maybe a few, but Bosch, being this Mini Cooper, changes those mask numbers or make a mask specifically for them, and then you cannot cross references to anything. But yeah, either way. So the reason I take this picture is first for that, and then secondly so we can inspect it, because this is such a high definition picture that I can use it almost like a microscope, and I can see if I or inspect the board to see if I see any leakage, because this is the side that we can see without removing completely the board. The capacitors are in the other side, as you will see on the desk. Then I have the computer connected. But usually when you have leaking capacitors, you will see through, because there is a lot of through holes in here, like all these little ones in here. Like this is a capacitor right here. Usually when this capacitor leaks, you will see a sign of that hydrolytic acid leaking through the board and then damaging components on both sides of the computer. And this was not the case on this computer. So this was done not because of leaking capacitors. I cannot say, well, leaking and not an acid, right? But it was a damage that I have actually to perform my test and everything. Then we have another capacitor in here. You can see in more capacitors. All these through holes that you see here are capacitors. All these pins that go through are capacitors. But yeah, if we inspect the board, which I did, and also on the microscope, it was no sign of anything. I removed the entire board and then flip it around where to we have this and nothing. So nothing visually obvious. So I have to actually take my curve tracer, do the entire curve tracer test to find out what the problems were. Yes, we're leaking capacitors and also diodes damage it. It's a little hard to say if this was caused by a reverse polarity, which I don't really think so because the diodes were not shorted, but it was a damaged capacitors. Polarity wise, not to like a point to create a short, but to actually damage other components around. So it's a very different failure that I found in this one, very puzzling, but luckily for me that I saved all this information myself from known good modules that I can compare, and then I saw the signature on those signals completely wrong. I'm like, oh, so I start removing components until I remove the capacitors, and that was the issue. So okay, let me just replace all the circuitry in charge of the voltage regulators, the relay circuits, which are in this case all these drivers you see here. These are smart drivers. They are in charge in the fuel pump relay, in order relays in this computer, and circuits for the injectors and so on. So the bottom one is the voltage regulator and so on. So I have to replace that, and I'm like, let me do this because the computer did have communication, but it was not able to power the main power relay on. The computer powers or controls, not powers, controls the ground side portion of the relay in connector, in the first connector, which is the 604. Then we have the 211 and the 232. These are just the last digits of those connectors, as you're seeing it on my bench. Let me move my view to where you're seeing. Perfect. So I don't have to be looking at that iPad. And all communications, powers, and grounds for this computer to talk to my scanner and to perform the test on the DME relay are here. So that's what I only have disconnected, and I have all connectors for injectors and coils and everything populated, so I can connect this 100%. But yeah, so the DME relay, which is this wiring here, is pin 28 on this connector 04, last digit 04, and then the computer will command the ground, which I have connected to the relay. This is an original Mini Cooper BMW relay, and then the circuit, the rest is just powers and grounds to the relay. This uses normal terminal 30, which is constant battery. Terminal 87 is when the relay closes, it will supply power, which I have connected to a test light, and the other side of the test light to ground. So when this is controlled by the computer, so one side in terminal, let's say 85, and BMW, so it's going to be pin 1 and pin 2, but they're the same as 85 and 86. So 85 is connected to battery positive, and then 86 is the control that comes from pin 28 from the computer, right? So this is what the computer will control grounding that relay control side, right? Control to control, but it's a redundancy necessary for this test or for this description. And then when that gets control, it closes the circuit, and then terminal 30 goes through on its way out to terminal 87, and then powers up that test light. So let's power this up. I'm going to put the meter on the screen, which I have connected to the sensor ground and the fiber reference, which we want to make sure that is intact. And then I have the scanner, which I'm using in this case, the Alta Ultra, ready to go to connect to the computer. I have not even read the bin. The last digits on Neal's computer should be TT82541. All right, so let's power this up. I'm going to power battery voltage. Oh, I have to power my power supply. I'm going to wait for the BCI. You will see that in the bottom of the scanner, we have some icons. The third one has an X. It says BCMI X is because it's not connected, because I have everything off. I want to do this right away. So let's wait for the BCMI to come active in the scanner, and then we power the computer because that needs to read the beam instantly. Come on. Okay, now it's green, so that means good. Okay, battery and then ignition in 1. Let's keep an eye on this light. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now the DME relay is working as it's supposed to. It's grounded, and we're reading the VIN number instantly too. You see what I mean? I don't have to even select. With the Autel, it reads the VIN number automatically as soon as the BCMI connects to the car. So that is great. So we have good communication. We have the DME relay steady. Let's select Mini Cooper just to read the data from the vehicle as far as what is, so you can see it too. And so is Neal. I don't want to keep it too much on because I have the computer out of the case, and the heatsink is not connected to this that dissipates the temperature from the voltage regulator and circuits that are on. So just so you understand that. All right, so just to see, this is, like I said, it's a Mini R56. It's a N14 engine, sorry. It's from 2007. 07, so July 2007, and the last digits of the VIN 77825541. All right, guys, this is all the tests that I really want to share and show. The tests, like I said, all you need to do, you can even put a test slide to that ground. I don't recommend usually to directly connect a normal bulb in there because this is a relay control. Let me power the computer off so it's not, creating an issue here. You can see the firewall reference. I'm going to power it back on. Again, we can see the firewall reference. You can see the reflection of the light. It's still from that position right there. The relay is activating every single time. I'm going to turn them off just so I don't get the computer hot. So what I usually recommend is to wire yourself a relay the same way that I just described. So forget about the car because you already have an issue, right? So is the problem on the relay, on the harness or something, and just find a wire directly on the vehicle and use a very handy tool. This is a Pomona 4mm piercing probe. Any wire you pierce in the engine room, you need to seal with liquid tape. So you're going to find a wire 28. You're going to get this on the wire, and this has a very tiny needle that you need to unscrew to get the wire inside here, and it has a sleeve that you can pull this back. Hopefully you can see that in there. See, it opens up, and then you can feed the wire in here because you're not going to cut it, right? So you're just going to pierce it. So this will hang in there, and then you screw this in, and that needle will pierce the wire. And now we have a point where I can put a 4mm wire behind this, and that's why this is a 4mm, because then you can use 4mm connections to it. It's 4mm banana adapters. That's what they call. So, and then you can have your own relay. Again, you're going to put terminal 30 and terminal 85 connected to the battery positive. Terminal 87 to a test light, right? Then you can use any bulb you want because it's coming directly from the battery, right? So that you got enough power in there. So if you want to put a 194 bulb, anything, at least you can see it visually. And then you cycle the ignition. If you cycle the ignition and the relay comes on, is the computer the problem? No. Then let's go over to the J box or wherever the relay is located, which in this vehicle I think is close to the computer, next to the brake master cylinder pump. It might be a broken wire or something that you need to test. But you see, so you can do something very quick, very easy, and keep that now relay with all those wires as a tool, because you can use that for multiple different tests. And the reason we're using the relay is because the relay control side, it draws very minimum amperage. And that's why also the manufacturer uses relay. Why we don't wire just directly that power to go to the computer? Why? Because the computer is going to draw 5, 6, 10 amps. A relay like that, you know how much it draws? 200 milliamps. You see what I mean? So they can control a high amperage circuit with a very small current, right? Amperage. The voltage stays the same. It's going to be whatever the battery voltage is, but that little system draws is only 200 milliamps. So if you put a bulb in there and it's a higher amperage, you will destroy the driver internally in the computer. Why? Because it's not meant to carry that much amperage. So the higher the load that you put in there, it will try to turn them on, and you can potentially damage the computer, and then you have to send it to me. So we don't want that, right? We want to make something that we can safely test anything and then know if it's working properly. And having an original relay, obviously, is also a peace of mind, because you know that you are using the correct load for the circuit. All right, guys, again, just trying to share some of my knowledge and some of the tests, easy tests you can run in the vehicle without scanners or nothing, because I have a scanner just to show you and the customer this is his computer, but all you need in there is just the bulb to light up. If you turn the ignition and the bulb lights up, but the DME cannot activate the original relay in the car, well, then move away from the DME and let's find out what else is the problem, right? Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.